Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I will be doing my preview for the upcoming match between the All Blacks and Ireland. But if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Nonetheless, let's get straight into this preview. Right, so Sky Stadium, it's going to be electric on Saturday night, 7:05 PM. It's when this game is kicking off. It is the decider after Ireland were able to pick up their first ever victory in New Zealand in the last match. Now we are here at 1-1. And it's going to be an absolutely awesome affair. During this preview, we will be looking at previous fixtures for the first part. The second part, we'll be looking through at key players for both of these sides. And then the third and final, we will be trying to give our prediction for what the score will be for the game in Wellington. But first of all, we will be looking at previous fixtures. So for New Zealand in that first match at Eden Park, it was certainly a better result for them. 42 points to 19. They did play well. Ireland in that game, they had a few opportunities that they weren't quite able to make the most of, such as drop balls over the try line. And also New Zealand's defence was extremely good when they were just out from their own line and also being able to hold up the Irish on a few occasions. But New Zealand, they will have to try and make sure that they play more like that game than they did in the second. As the second match, it was 23 points to 12 in favour of Ireland, and there was a late try for New Zealand in that game scored by Will Jordan, which didn't change the result much, as Ireland was still able to get themselves the 11-point win. So we've seen two completely different games from New Zealand. Ireland, they have been consistently around that 20 points or so they'll be looking to even get more in this last match at Sky Stadium. I am hoping that the weather is not like it was for their game up against the Māori All Blacks though, as it was absolutely bucketing down. There was a strong wind blowing. Luckily, during the 80 minutes of rugby, there wasn't too much rain, but before that, it was certainly pouring down, which is not what we want for this contest. We want to see that free-flowing rugby, and I think having it so that it is free-flowing rugby would actually benefit the All Blacks more than Ireland, because Ireland, no matter what the weather is, they can play very structured rugby, whereas the All Blacks, they might be going more for that running game if they do know that the ball is relatively dry. But for Ireland, I should also mention they have played two extra fixtures throughout this tour, the first of which up against the Māori All Blacks, in which they did lose at 32 points to 17, but then in their last match that did take place on only Tuesday this week, they were able to get themselves the win over the Māori All Blacks, 30 points to 24. And that side was a completely different one to what we saw up against the All Blacks on Saturday. So Ireland at the moment, they've had two victories in a row. They will be feeling confident heading into this game at Sky Stadium. But the thing is, Ireland already having that first ever win on New Zealand soil, like that will just keep on propelling the momentum for them in this contest. So the All Blacks are going to have to shut it down early, which is something in the past two matches we have not seen them be able to do. The first 20 minutes of Test 1 and Test 2, you'd have to argue, both went to Ireland, and then from there New Zealand slowly worked their way back into the contest and extend the lead in the first one, whereas in the second one it was still Ireland throughout pretty much the whole 80 minutes. But New Zealand in that second match, their discipline let them down. The likes of Ofa Tuangafasi, Angus Ta'avao ended up with the red card. Lester Whaiananuku also ending up with the yellow, and at one stage the All Blacks, they were very confused at how many players they were supposed to have out on the field. Ardie Savia, they got that a little bit wrong, having him off for a majority of the match when they would have liked to have him out there. But New Zealand, their discipline this week, as long as they don't end up with a whole heap of yellow and red cards, I think this match will be a lot closer. But no matter what, it's going to be a physical one. We've seen that little bit of a rivalry coming out between Peter O'Mahony and Sam Cane, two veterans of their sides. I'm interested to see who gets the better of that one. But now looking through at key players for both of these teams, we will start with the All Blacks, and straight away I am going to go with that man that I mentioned a little bit earlier on, and that is Ardie Savia. He didn't get to play for the full 80 in the last game, but in that first match up against Ireland was able to get himself the 2 tries, and he will be looking for at least one in this game at his home ground in Wellington, where he does play his home game for Super Rugby and also in the Bunnings NPC for Wellington. He'll be looking forward to having that extra little bit more of that home field advantage for this contest. But he runs the ball hard, and also in that breakdown he's going to have to bring that physicality to Ireland, because their loose forward trio at the moment with O'Mahony, Josh Van den Flair and also Caelan Doris, they have shown that they are able to get many turnovers in the breakdown if the All Blacks are not quick enough with getting that clean out. So that is something that Ardie Savia will have to look towards. It also just playing the way that he normally does, running the ball hard and seeing how many meters he can make for himself. But then the next name that I have got, it is Rieko Ioane. It is his 50th Test match for the All Blacks, so it's going to be an exciting one to see what Rieko can do. And he is alongside a different man than what he was for the last 2 Test matches. Instead of being Quinton Poia, it is David Havili who moves his way back into the side, and his fitness is one that the public are not too sure of, as he has just recovered from testing positive. So the question is whether or not that is going to gel as quickly as the Quintupai and Rieko Ioane combo did in the first match, but this is actually the combination that I've heard a lot of people want to see, other than, of course, that RTS and Rieko combination that we might get to see a little bit later on in the match. So he is my second name, Rieko Ioane. He's been playing very well. His goal line defense has been absolutely brilliant in that first and second test match, and it is exactly what the All Blacks are going to require from him. Then the last name, a man who came off the bench last week. He will get himself more than likely a full 80 minutes unless there is some sort of injury that does end up occurring, and that is Will Jordan. He scored the try last week. He's dangerous with the ball for the Crusaders and also for the All Blacks. Seems to always find his way over the try line, which is exactly what the All Blacks will need to do. They need to put that pressure on the Irish early, or else that momentum, when we see the passion from the Irish coming out, they just keep on going and going and going. They seem like they have an unlimited gas tank. Will Jordan, he always has a huge amount of pace, chases kicks hard, and that is what the All Blacks will need in this contest. But those are the three names for the All Blacks that I am looking out for. Now we look at Ireland straight away. Josh van den Fleur. I've talked about this man many times throughout the tour. He's playing number 7 for this matchup. He's just so brilliant in the breakdown, great with the running game. He is going head-to-head with Sam Cane, though it's kind of the inexperience versus the experience, but Josh van den Fleur, he is certainly one that I am keeping a close eye on, and the best thing is he wears a different colour headgear than anyone else in the Irish side, so you can always pick him, and you just see how much work the man puts in for Ireland, and I don't think that will be any different for this third test match. Then the next name for Ireland I am saying to watch out for, once again, I've gone with him a couple times in my previews before, but it is Johnny Sexton. He has had a pretty solid tour, but the big thing is for Ireland, in that first game, as soon as Sexton got injured and came off the field, the whole game changed for them. The structure that that man brings to the backline of Ireland is absolutely huge. A lot of these other guys in that backline play for Leinster as well, likes of Jameson Gibson Park, Robbie Henshaw. You've also got James Lowe and Hugo Keenan out there, so as long as all of those Leinster men are all linking up, it is going to be a dangerous one for the All Blacks to try and defend, because Ireland, their backline can be pinpoint accurate, and also Leinster are one of the quickest teams when it comes to cleaning out the breakdown out of any side in the URC or World Rugby today. So that is why you've got to make sure that either you guys are committing to the breakdown quickly, which will be a split-second decision for the All Blacks, or you've got to make sure that you're in that line, you're trying to stop Ireland from being able to break their way through, because they've got pace in the back line, they've got power, and the likes of Bundy Aki and Johnny Sexton might even have a couple cracks for himself as well. Now the last name that I've got for Ireland to watch out for, it is Peter O'Mahony. Now last week he had a very good game. Oh, looked like I was at the disco there for half a second. He played brilliantly last week up against the All Blacks. He seemed to be getting in the head of a couple of the All Blacks players as well. But the thing with Peter O'Mahony is his head is made of stone. Like, he gets dropped on his head so many times throughout the URC, throughout international level, and the man somehow always finds his way back to his feet. I feel like he's had like a past life as a boxer who has just that solid granite chin, because he doesn't go down too often, and when he does, it's normally because his arm's like facing the wrong way or something. He's a tough man, and that is exactly what Ireland want. They want their tough number 6. He's going head-to-head with Scott Barrett this week, rather than Dalton Papali'i, which is one of those bigger changes for the All Blacks, as they did decide to move Scott Barrett from his normal position of 5 back into the blind side like he played for that first test match. But that's going to be an exciting one. I think we are going to get to see some physical battles between those two, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. See them go head to head. I can't wait for this game. We're still more than 24 hours away at the time I am recording this, but it is going to fly by, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. See who wins the third and final test. But now, speaking of who's going to win, we move on to the prediction stage of this video. Now, it's always tough to predict these games, because you'd have to say from that first performance, you'd think that the All Blacks would win the series. From that second performance, you would think that Ireland are going to win the series. And now it's the question, who will turn up at Sky Stadium? What's the weather like is another question that might play factor. But for me, the All Blacks, from what they did last week, they will certainly not be playing as badly as that again. If they did, then they would deserve to lose to the Irish. But the Irish, it's such a tricky one, because to say that Ireland are going to win in New Zealand 2 times in a row to take out the series is an absolutely huge statement. But to be honest, it could actually take place at Sky Stadium. But I'm going to go with the All Blacks, just because if I didn't, I might have to leave the country. So I'll go the All Blacks win this one, and I'll say they win it by 7. But it's going to be a great match. Both sides going to be absolutely bringing it, but I'm going to go the All Blacks. Just managed to sneak it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get themselves their first ever series tour win in New Zealand. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. Do let me know who you think will be winning this contest in the comments below, and also who you think the key players are for both of these sides. But we will be back on the channel doing the watch-along commentary for this game, so be sure to check that out as well. That will be starting at around 6:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Game kicking off at 7:05, and I just cannot wait to see who takes out this third and final match. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.